morning is warm yet beautiful as we begin our day in Bradenton, Florida. Welcome back to the Sunshine State Rails, and as we begin our morning in Bradenton, Florida, the first catch comes as a rarity already. CSX train 0705. His current power was a CSX SD50-3 as compared to the usual SD40-3s. After finishing his morning switching in the Tropicana plant this Saturday morning on September 7th, they are now ready to hand over the loaded consist of Tropicana juice over to the mainline power, which will take it to Tampa.
Lined up, start shoving to the 12. Bottom 12, here we go.
At this point, my camera overheats again due to the amount of heat that it had been sitting in while waiting for the SD50 to make his move. So we watched the SD50 back the train up. Then we moved up to 9th Street to watch the locomotive make its way back to the Tropicana yard to do some more switching throughout the day. Speaking of SD40-3s, looky here, we have one leading the juice train today, number 4075, and behind it is AC 4400 number 459. Since the engineer on A23 had already called the dispatcher and the Alafaya River Bridge tender before he even made this move, as soon as the conductor got back in the cab, they were ready to head north for Tampa. And that was all done in about 10 minutes, so they were on their way. was then that we left the Palmetto sub, as I was to volunteer at the Florida Railroad Museum a number of miles east of here for an hour or two cutting back the weeds that are growing around the area. Once me and my friend got done doing that, we made our way back to the Palmetto sub to hear about you know what train. 0750 making his way on the Palmetto sub southbound. Today he had a number of rock hoppers and some cars for Port Manatee, including a number of tanks and a covered hopper. We have set ourselves up at Morgan Farms Road just south of the Little Manatee River, which this APP signal is signifying. When 750 makes his stop at Port Manatee, he doesn't switch any of the industries. Instead, he just drops off all the cars. Turns out that this crew had planned on doing all the work at Port Manatee on their northbound trip later tonight, and just wanted to get the Conrad Yelvington stuff done first. So around the corner he comes. Here we're set up about halfway between Port Manatee and Palmetto, and we see two things within this scene. One, a rock train headed southbound, and number two, a guy in a red car who just isn't sure if risking his life is appropriate for the situation and needs to get a better look. At long last, 075007 makes his way to Palmetto. And soon enough, 750 had pulled through downtown, lined the Parish Spur switch, and finally was shoving his way backwards onto the Parish Spur up to the Conrad Yelvington to drop off these rock loads, and then go straight back to Port Manatee in Tampa because there were no empties within this spur for him to pull out tonight. Up here, the train would come to a halt so the conductor on the rear end could get off and drop flares at an unguarded railroad crossing to let oncoming cars know that there was a train trying to get through. And coincidentally, the locomotive happened to stop right next to us, so it was a great photo opportunity and sound file opportunity for those wanting the idle sounds of a GP40-2. And like I said earlier, 0750 didn't have any empties on this spur to pull out tonight, so there was no more work that he would do tonight that we had interest in. So once 750 backed his way over this railroad crossing, we hit the hay and headed for home. So I hope y'all enjoy this little video I put together of Saturday, September 7th trains on the Palmetto Subdivision between Ruskin and Bradenton, Florida. So in Palmetto, Florida, this is Kotabeaner, and I'll see you next time on the Sunshine State Rails.